Midwest finally dropped his album Archangel last Friday, and here is my review of that album. Overall, it's a very solid album, very good, very fire, and just overall an enjoyable album, and just it has no skips at all. Every song is fire. But going to the first song on this album, Resolution, it starts off more of a slower paced song, more of an emotional type song, to get you a feel of what the album is going to be like, which is an emotional album, which we all knew that this was going to be an emotional album, because Midwest always drops an emotional album, then a hype album. He always switches it up, which I do enjoy that from Midwest, because if you're a fan of the more like hype songs from him, you can just expect when that project or album is going to drop. Same with the emotional but this album being emotional is really good because I do enjoy that type of music from Midwest a lot more than his hype stuff, because his hype stuff, there's always a couple of misses when he drops like hype albums like Back in Action 3 and 4. Those songs, those albums always have misses for me, and his emotional albums have no misses, such as E3, no misses, such a perfect album, and Archangel, no message, such a good album. And Midwest emotional songs are always better in my opinion because it's always relatable. You're going to find 1, 2, 3 lyrics that you can relate to, like the whole song you can relate to. But overall, I do enjoy this album a lot more. I like how there's different styles of emotional songs on this album, such as slower paced songs such as Resolution, This Weekend, Attached, and Discreet Lines, which are some of the most underrated songs on this album. Then you get some hyperpop songs to feed the OG fans like Hostile, I Told You, which are some of my favorite songs on this album to like feed the OG fans, because Midwest did start off with hyperpop, and I've been a fan of Midwest since 2021. And to hear some hyperpop definitely got me like happy to hear some like OG Midwest, I guess, if that makes sense. Then Midwest would drop a version 2 of one of his songs from 2020 with Useless V2, which brought back memories when I used to listen to this song back in 2021 a lot, because like Useless is so good, the first one is so good, and as I started listening to Useless V2, I was like, I remember this, like it brings back memories. I was so hyped listening to it. Definitely a good song and just makes me happy listening to that. But going to my favorite songs on this album, my absolute favorite song on this album would actually be one of the singles, which is Hostile. I like that, you know, like hyper pop sound to it, and just relate to that song the most out of any song on this album. And overall, this song gets me hyped as well, but also has that emotional vibe to it, you know what I'm saying? But going into my top 5 favorite songs would obviously be Hostile, and keep in mind the rest aren't in order, but Waste Time, Useless V2, No Handouts, and I Told You. Just those 5 songs are amazing, and I like how in those 5 songs I can relate to the lyrics and pretty much relate to like any song on this album. Even if I can relate to like 2, 3, 4 lines on any song, I do relate to most songs on this album. But going to some of the most underrated songs on this album that I think deserves more loves is Discreet Lines and Attached. Attached is so amazing, just so beautiful, and I feel like that song doesn't really get enough love, but that song is such a good, beautiful song. Like, just imagine listening to that song at night, like, or just driving at night, or just laying in your bed, staring out, or just something at night. Just, it's a good song. But my least favorite song on this album is This Weekend. This song isn't bad, it's just, I don't really feel it as much as the other ones, you know what I'm saying? I don't really enjoy it as much as the other ones. It's still a good song, but nothing just I would listen to like too much, if that makes sense. Maybe I gotta give it a chance and like replay it more and just like see if I enjoy it more after a couple more listens, but I've already listened to it a couple times and it hasn't really grown on me super much, but still a, you know, pretty decent song, but nothing that is like blows me away, if that makes sense. But overall, this is a very solid album, and I like how every time Midwest drops an emotional album such as E3 and Archangel, he locks in and just does it so good and just makes it sound so beautiful and have no misses. And like, I wouldn't really have a complaint with this album because there's only what, like 1, 2 features on this album, and like those features, like one was a producer and one was like an actual feature with like an artist like rapping on their verse. But like, I'm glad that there's not many features, because like I've always wanted like albums to have at least a couple features, but I feel like Midwest like knows how to like make an album sound good with no features. Like Midwest doesn't need features, although it would have been good if there maybe was features, but like I'm not complaining at all. Like, does that make sense? But that was my review of Midwest album Archangel. I could definitely see this probably being my top 10 albums of this year. Hopefully very solid album, and hopefully Midwest does go on tour for this album because I need to see him live. Midwest, you need to come to Australia. I've been trying to see you live since 2021, but that was my review of Archangel by Midwest. Let me know your thoughts on this Midwest album Archangel, and let me know your favorite song on this album. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my channel for more rap videos, like and subscribe for more. It's been DC. See ya.